What's up, everybody? What's up? LessAlex here, back again with another episode of the LessAlex podcast, powered by fullcountmedia.com. I am joined tonight by the one and only Boris from the Hobby Box. What's up, Boris?
What's up, Les? How's it going?
Oh, it's going, man. We got all these games going on, whether you're into basketball or baseball, it doesn't matter. Right now, everything's being played. We finally have playoff basketball.
Yes,
I'm
sir.
excited. There's definitely some things that are shaking up prices. Even still, I thought, who knows what's going to go on with these basketball prices. It's been crazy. We do want to talk about some news, though. Of course, there's a lot of things happening in baseball world as well as basketball. And then we are going to get into some football a little bit later. But before we do all that, if you want to introduce yourself for those that might not be familiar with you.
Yeah. Like you said, my name is Boris. I have a YouTube channel called the Hobby Box. You can find me on Instagram as well at the Hobby Box. So definitely talk a lot about basketball investing, mainly, and some football as well. I do dabble in other things, but really just those are the ones that I like, that I focus on the most,
Yeah, definitely. And you got a lot of good insights. You actually just had a premiere go up. I did put the link to his channel in the description below. So if you guys want to, click that tab over, hit that subscribe button, and then continue watching here. And anybody listening on the podcast app, make sure to rate and review 5 stars. Nothing less. If you don't like the content, just hit me up on Twitter and tell me that my content's garbage. But just hit that 5 stars. And huge shout out to all of my Patreon members. We have a good time over there. I share all my picks. We do monthly live Patreon exclusive Q&A each and every month. So shout out to all my Patreon members. If you're interested, head on over to patreon.com/LessAlex. Check it all about. It is just really a good way to help support me if you enjoy the content and if you dig what I'm doing here. With all that out of the way, let's get into this news, man. So first up, Fernando Tatis Jr. just kind of got into some controversy last night. He hit a grand slam home run on a 3-0 count in a game that the Padres were winning by 7 runs already. So a lot of old school purists, baseball purists and whatnot, not too happy. I know the manager of even the Padres, his own manager, didn't stick up for him. And the manager of the opposing team, the Texas Rangers, was not happy. And it's just crazy, man. My thoughts on it, and we can get yours obviously too, but if you ain't playing 100% of the time, why are you even out there? Right?
Yeah, no. I mean, I tend to on the same way as well. Same wavelength with you.
Especially the way that contracts are created these days. Like, think about if somebody was on the last game of the season, and obviously this is hypothetical, but somebody has 29 home runs. This same scenario comes up, and they need 30 home runs to get an extra $1 million. If it's me, you better believe I'm hitting for the fences. So it's just crazy, man. I can't believe how many, old school baseball purists, and I get it, but like, come on, the unwritten rules or whatever of baseball, nonsense. Play to win the game. Also, the Space Jam jerseys got revealed in a little short 10-second video. Did you see them? Did you see the video?
Not.
Oh my.
No.
Okay, well, we got to bring it up. So hold on, let me bring it up if I could find it.
Yeah,
Probably on Twitter is our best bet. Let's see. Space Jam. But yeah, they were getting all kinds of hate, if I could spell it. He was getting all kinds of hate on the So yeah, here it is. Very new school looking. Got the Nike swoosh there. And the LeBron, I guess that's the LeBron James like logo or whatever right there. And here's a side by side. That's perfect. So
Oh
very
wow.
bright, very colorful. It was I mean, basically from what I was seeing, almost unanimously people hated it.
Really?
So here's my thought. I think this isn't our movie, right? This movie's made for the kids of today, right? We have our memories and we have the good feeling, special feeling we get when we hear Space Jam and we see that Toon Squad jersey and everything. I think the new one's pops, and I think it's marketed towards the kids, and I think the kids are gonna like it. I definitely want to get one. Like it's pretty dope, I think. But what are your thoughts? First time he's seen this, guys, so he hasn't seen this yet. So
No, I mean, I definitely see the the currentness of it for sure. So I mean, it kind of lines up with what those things look like. So I mean, yeah, I mean, I don't think I think it's very that writing reminds me of SpongeBob
nice.
SquarePants for some reason.
I
Maybe it's
see it
because it's
kind
the
of.
SQ. Yeah.
Yeah,
But no, man, I don't hate on the outfit, you know. Probably people that are hating on it, same people that, you know, yeah. It's like you gotta sometimes let go of the past and stuff like that.
right.
And exactly this movie's it's like the same thing for me. It's like Michael Jordan is the greatest of all time, but for a lot of people, you know, some people it's Kobe and some people it's you know, LeBron James, and I'm sure you
Right.
know those people prefer this outfit. Or you know, the
Yeah,
Toon Squad. I don't even know if people watch Looney Tunes anymore either.
yeah, I don't know, man. I don't know. But I definitely think this is gonna, I mean, they're gonna sell a billion of these. And that's what the job is for this little reveal video that they made up. Obviously the classic is the classic, right? But I
Yeah,
think
for
they
sure.
did a good job. It's just crazy that people were losing their mind over this. It's also crazy that people are losing their mind over a professional baseball player hitting a home run. Like that's wild. Like but moving on, we got Luca, good old Luca, teeing off for 47 points in a loss.
My dude.
Oh man. That was crazy. I think he became the youngest player in playoff history to score 40 points and then lose or something like that.
Yeah, one of those records that he hit. I wasn't paying attention exactly to that, but I know that you know, between him and that game and Donovan in the other game, it was just crazy. But I mean, what else do you expect from Luca?
Yeah, beast mode. And they threw out Porzingis got ejected on the most. I mean, that's got to be the weakest call. Was it like a flagrant that he got ejected on, and he like basically retaliated? It reminded me of like when you were in school and somebody hits you and then you hit them back, but they see you hit them, so you're gonna get in trouble.
Well, yeah, I mean, so I'm cool with the honestly, probably shouldn't have got involved in that because it really didn't have much to do with him at all.
Right.
But the first you know, technical was stupid. Like, I mean, he just kind of like, you know, threw his fist up in the air, you know, on a bad call, and because he thought it was clean, and they gave him that technical, and that was really what killed it. Because you know, if he would have got the second technical, or if he would have got the other technical, which I think honestly, they were probably in the right on that technical. He wouldn't have been ejected if it wasn't for that petty, like the one before that, which really was dumb. That was the dumb call. It was the technical before that.
Yeah, it was
For
wild,
sure.
man. I don't know. I think that the refs kind of want to keep the player. It's so weird because of the pandemic and everything. The NFL is going to be wild because you can't do jersey exchanges after the game, but you're going to be able to smash this dude in the mouth for 50 minutes or 60 minutes or whatever. But they're
Mm-hmm.
trying to keep them separated and not have them like be up in each other's grills like that. But just a weird ejection. Who knows what would have happened had he not gotten ejected too. So
The Mavericks would have won. I
kind of,
strongly
yeah,
believe that the
yeah,
Mavericks.
yeah.
They were looking hot, man. I was I really like I said, I don't think it's going to be hard for the Mavericks to take this series, but I think it's going to go all 7 games. I mean, I just don't think it's going to be any kind of walk in the park for the Clippers. I think they probably could have won if Porzingis didn't get ejected.
Oh, I definitely agree. And then we had Donovan Mitchell, kind of the same scenario. I mean, he went off for 57, and as Ryan says here, Donovan's cards going nuts. He went off for 57 in a losing contest. So, man, it's rough out here for these guys that are scoring big points. And then we had the Magic beat the Bucks by 11.
Yeah. So a couple things on that, like first of all, Donovan Mitchell going off for 57 points, and even though he lost, his card prices are still going nuts, like you said. Yeah, and it's just like I said, it's like the reaction is pretty like knee-jerk reactions on these. Just seeing Donovan Mitchell going up, and it's crazy. Like people have a good game, and you'll immediately see the market kind of bend towards that, and so you might see a little dip, and for sure, and we're probably gonna honestly Magic. We're probably gonna see a bump up in what's his name? Vucevic.
Yeah, I can't say. I didn't want to try and pronounce.
But you'll probably see a little bump up in his, and maybe a little bit. I don't know. Like I said, what's his name is a good deal no matter what. Like I'm all about investing in him, but what's his name? Golly, dude, why do I have trouble remembering names always? There's so many names. There's too many names to remember.
There's a lot. Yeah.
Yeah. But with Giannis, there you go. But yeah, crazy that the Magic beat them.
Yeah, it's wild. My big thing is like, man, if you get blown out by the Magic, and we were just talking about this, I don't think they're going to be able to contend with whoever the West brings to the table. I don't think the Bucks are going to be able to contend with. That's just my hot take. Call it a hot take maybe, and who knows? The Raptors could come out of the East. Celtics could come out of the East.
Yeah.
Because I mean, if you look at it, the Bucks are kind of like a one-man show. You look at Giannis, and then Chris Middleton might be the second option.
Yeah, so, I mean, for the most part, yeah. If Giannis isn't playing well enough, the whole team goes down for sure.
It kind of, I hate to kind of make this comparison because I don't think it's quite this dramatic, but it's kind of like LeBron on the Cavs back in the day. I mean, he was just having monster games and literally dragged the worst finals team in the history of the finals. If you look at that first year they made it to finals, that team was hot garbage. But I think the Bucks have a little bit better of a team. But anyways, it kind of reminded me of that. But moving on, Lakers Blazers tonight. I think the game started, or it may have started. I don't know. I've been preparing the Lakers Blazers.
Yeah, they're playing right now.
Yeah, we got to keep up with that. So you keep us updated with the scores because I'm wearing my Lakers hat right now. So hopefully, I think the Blazers could give them a run for their money. To be honest, though, I don't think there's Dame is not going to go down easy. And we talked about this on your channel. Was it yesterday? And the Blazers are Damian Lillard is not going to go down easy, no matter who he's up against.
Yeah, and I mean CJ McCollum is a great number 2 over there. Like I said, I've said a couple times that I thought they weren't a great fit, but somehow they've brought it together in these past as soon as the NBA restart for sure. They brought it together and they've been looking a lot better. And honestly, the Lakers haven't really looked that great coming back from
the Lakers have looked pretty bad.
Yeah, it's just like kind of discombobulated a little bit, So very interesting to see. I mean, if I imagine if the Blazers do knock out the Lakers, I mean, we're going to see, oh my gosh, those Damian Lillard cards are going to be insane.
Man, yeah, I sold most of my Damian Lillards already. So I'm like, and I'm fine. I made,
Boxing, what's up?
yeah. What's
Sorry.
up?
No, you're good.
Yeah. I sold most of my Damian Lillard cards, and I made a good profit on them, much more than like 2 times or whatever. But man, I'll be kicking myself if they could manage to get past the Lakers. I don't think it's gonna happen, but if they could, man, Damian Lillard's cards are gonna go absolutely berserk, I think.
Yeah, for sure.
So that's the news. Thank you guys for hanging through. I know that part is not what everybody necessarily wants to hear on a sports card podcast, but I like to give you, my opinions on what's going on in sports. So let's move on to talk about your YouTube channel, your podcast. Like, what's your stuff all about? What do you cover?
Yeah, man. I like to just really, looking over like basketball. I like to dip into the statistics and like also like the what ifs and, just shed some light on like what, how to really, it's honestly, it's like how to research this stuff yourself, really ask those questions. That's the biggest thing is I want people to be able to ask questions to themselves, what's next and seeing like the trends. So, obviously right now as a trend is if a player has a great game, you see crazy uptick in their price. That's a trend. Trying to get people, more educated in the fact that like, they're selects and things like that. Like I'm starting to move more in that direction eventually. I haven't done a video on that yet, but like, just the rarity of cards and how that affects its price. So, but mostly basketball. I like to do some football here because I do a lot I do a lot of, what is it called? Fantasy football. And really, I mean, that's one of the key things there is if you're looking up people who are having, who you think are going to have great games, and that's a good tool to invest as well for cards.
Absolutely. I would imagine so. I don't play any fantasy sports. I used to, but what I found was I'd start just picking all the players from my favorite team, and my favorite teams over the last decade have been the Browns and the St. Louis Rams. So that's not a winning recipe.
I mean, the Los Angeles Rams.
No. We don't talk about them. But hopefully it'll be like the curse of the curse of St. Louis, and they'll never win a championship out there. But what's your favorite part about making content for sports cards in particular?
Yeah, man. I mean, just the opportunity for communities. It's been really cool to see the community aspect of it. There it has its ups and downs. There's a lot of people who don't like the current state of the market, and that makes sense. I mean, I get it. Like some people are opposed to change and things like that. So that has its ups and downs too for me. But really just to help people out, is like a big avenue. Because there's a lot of people coming in that are new. They have no idea about basic stuff in the hobby, and so I like connecting with people, that are kind of that like enjoy my style and enjoy what I'm doing, and that's the best part about it for sure.
Yeah, definitely the community of it. I feel that. So moving on. Talking about basketball right now, obviously the market, like you said, has been nuts. It changes. A guy's cards could go from 500 to 700 just because of one performance. Donovan Mitchell is, being the most recent in that trend. Obviously, that 57-point game, I'm sure, gave his cards a boost. I haven't looked because I have gotten rid of all my Donovan Mitchells. I got in really early though, so I feel pretty good about it. I don't like to think. That's one thing too, and you can kind of speak on this a little bit, is not thinking about you're never going to hit that peak. Like you're never going to. There's going to be one person on the entire planet that hits that peak, right? And then everything from there is going to be down. So don't worry about the potential money that you could have missed by selling early, because I'd always love to be a day early than a day late, because if you're the one holding the bag, that's a bad look.
Yeah, I mean, I'm big on that too. Is like, and that's like something that we get flack for. It's just
Mhm.
like, why would you sell? Like, I remember when I was telling people to sell Zions, I was like, yeah, if you got a few Zions, definitely go sell some.
Yeah, I
Sell them
remember
out
that.
and,
Yeah,
and move it into something else and buy something else and then make some money. And they're like, why would you sell Zion and blah 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 and this and that? And I'm like, dude, because like like profit is profit. Like you made
right.
profit, like move it around. Find somebody who's not so expensive already. I mean, if you bought Zion's cards for like, you bought a Zion PSA 10 for $300 and you sold it, a month ago for 700, you're happy because now the Zion
Absolutely.
card is $600. You know what I mean? Like you lost $100 right there. And that's
Yes,
going
sir.
to continue to happen because that's what I'm trying to tell people is like a lot of flip minded people are coming into the hobby right now.
Yeah.
So the terrain is changing. So it's like I know flippers, man. They sell their stuff and they're gonna try and sell it first. So they're all gonna try and undercut each other. And so that's gonna
Mhm.
drive the market down once the player is out of the hype loop. So
Right.
now that he's not in the hype loop of like, oh, he could win the NBA playoffs, now you're seeing all the
Yep.
undercutting, and until someone's like, okay, that's too low, I'm not going to sell it there, which to me would probably be around 500
Yeah. Yeah, and
for a
like
PSA 10.
yeah, and Zion's a perfect example of that too, because I don't think many people going into the playoffs thought that the Pelicans maybe they catch that eighth seed, right? At best. But what are they doing with that eighth seed? They really gonna be are they really gonna beat the number one seed? Like, no.
Right,
So you seeing this dip in Zion prices is good in my opinion because it shows that we have a healthy market. Ebbs and flows are good for the market.
right.
Um, so and it hasn't absolutely tanked, right? It's not like
No,
$100. Like it's still valuable. There is still value in that card, which is good. I think there needs to, you know, be some value, but ebbs and flows are good for the market.
right.
Cool. Yeah, I definitely agree. Is there any guys you're looking at right now that might not? And I know this is kind of a loaded question because basketball is everything's expensive in basketball. But is there anybody maybe that folks aren't thinking of, or anything on the back burner that you've been cooking up?
Um, no, I mean, not that like there's anything that's, a lot of it's already out there. It's just really right now, it's the game of like, when should you sell?
Yeah.
That's the big thing is like, okay, when do you sell? And what's your plan? Are you trying to have, are you trying to collect for a long time and find this value like way later on? Or are you
Hmm.
trying to move into like better cards, like by selling, here and there? But yeah, I would say like my biggest one right now, I would say, so Lakers, I'm looking at Kuzma,
Yep.
at this point. So Kuzma, and then obviously for the Blazers, everybody's on Gary Trent Jr. So that's not any kind of news there. But you don't
Right.
you don't hear a lot about CJ McCollum, so that could be a good
Man,
pivot. I
it's
haven't really,
crazy because he balled out in that last game and really put
yeah,
the team like I thought it was going to be Dame that went nuts in the fourth quarter, but I mean, it was really honestly CJ. So
yeah, yeah. So that's kind of like where I've been. Like my pivots have been there. Like I think my biggest NBA guys that I'm focusing on right now that are
mhm,
still kind of lower, like I said, would
mhm,
be like Kuzma. And I'm not saying Kuzma is going to be this great
right.
investment. I'm saying you're going to be able to make a little bit of money here during the playoffs. And then Kuzma and Kristaps Porzingis is another one that like he's just
Yeah.
impressing. And obviously Jamal Murray now, that one's kind of out of the bag, like cat out of the bag there. Uh, but yeah, and then I've always been a big proponent of Tyler Hero. I think he's just continuing to see it more and more. So those are kind
Yeah,
of my big ones that I'm looking at
you've been talking about Hero for quite some time.
forever. Yeah.
um, so yeah, awesome. So that might be for everybody listening, everybody watching. Might be a little insight. Because there's still money to be made in basketball. I know it seems like the prices are ridiculous, which I mean they are, but I think as the playoffs progress and as we march closer to the finals, there's going to be quite a bit of money to be made here at the very end of this season. If you're good at selecting, I think honestly, like role players on teams that will make the finals. If you believe a team, if you think the Clippers are going to be that team, like maybe look into investing in role players, or the Lakers. Like Kuzma could be an amazing pick if the Lakers can make it to the finals, because it'll only take one big shot, one big game for Kuzma, in my opinion, for these role players to pop off. So
Yeah. Well, he's being looked at as kind of like that number 3 now on the Lakers.
right, yeah,
You know, in
yep.
a sense, I don't know why. I mean, there's a lot of great players on the Lakers, but they're
Mm-hmm.
looking at Kuzma right now for sure.
Yeah, and I think he's one of those players too on the Lakers. He's been playing with them for several seasons now. He was there really during the down times, right? The times where we didn't have LeBron James was not on the team. So he's kind of one of those players that Lakers fans like, and as those fans potentially come into the sports card world, they're going to potentially be picking up Kyle Kuzma's. Because it's not just LeBron and AD. So yeah, moving on though, we want to talk about football. Football, historically speaking, football cards have been a market where it's just dominated by the QBs, right?
Yep.
And I think what's happening and what I'm seeing, and I've been talking with you, I've been talking with Flipping Steve some, I've been talking with other folks that know a lot more about football and football cards than I do. It's really starting to look like non-QB skill players are kind of the, I don't want to use this term, but the low-hanging fruit, if you will.
Yeah.
So who do you think could potentially be somebody that's worth picking up that isn't necessarily a quarterback?
Yeah, I mean, I've been picking up for a while now. I've been picking up like Christian McCaffrey,
Yeah.
Michael Thomas. I think there's somebody who was mentioning it earlier. But yeah, Godwin as well. So I think the reason for that is that during this whole pandemic, a lot of people that are heavy into what's it called, fantasy football. They're kind of coming into the market, and so now you're seeing more value in those places because they're like, oh yeah, these people are good. These are the people that I want on my fantasy team. And so now you're seeing kind of the market react to that. And we're probably going to see the same exact thing, man, where, if a player blows up or is having like a good run of the season, that's not a quarterback, someone like CMC, that's an easy target, but comparatively, you look at CMC, Christian McCaffrey, and you look at his silvers and you compare them to like, some of the best. Cause I mean, really in reality, a running back is kind of like, I guess, comparatively, to basketball, it would be like the number 2 on that team, basically. Or sometimes it could be the number 1 even, but most of the time the quarterback is, that LeBron James or, things like that. But, and the reason that people don't invest in the running backs and stuff like that is because of injury factors, like injury risk. But to me, CMC is kind of like, with all that he's been doing over the last couple of years, I feel like he's like the safest running back at this point.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Modern running back.
Right.
Not,
we're talking about players that are playing, that are going to be playing this season.
Yeah, he's a little more safer. That you can actually get some money back. So I have picked up a couple of CMC silver prisms. So I think those are they were way undervalued. They're still going up. The people have been buying them up. So definitely have seen that.
Yeah, and I think that as we see the slow build up to the season, we saw this with basketball cards too. Before they started in the bubble, we saw a extremely slow build up for non like superstar players, right? And as we get closer to kickoff, I think we could really see some of these guys like Christian McCaffrey, like Ezekiel Elliott, somebody who, is always in the forefront of people's minds at running back. But I think we could see them at, Christian McCaffrey goes off and has 100 yards on the ground, 50 yards, catching or receiving. You're not telling me his cards aren't going to go up and just kind of skyrocket? I think with the way that the sports card market has been recently, I think we could easily see that.
Yeah, and football is one of those top sports too. So it's like, it's basketball than football. I mean, really, I know you hate to hear that, but
no, I mean, it is what it is, man. Like baseball will never
watch,
baseball will never be basketball or even football. So yeah, it is what it is. But
so basically, Joe Burrow is Zion,
Yeah.
So expect those card prices.
What do you think about Joe? Do you think he's like going to make it in the league? Like, just not even in terms of his cards, because we have no idea what his cards are going to look like or anything like that. But do you think him as a player is going to be successful?
He's definitely got some talent, and he definitely plays well ahead of his years. The question is like, okay, if like AJ Green has been just so injured all the time, if AJ Green is healthy, then I think he has a great shot at putting up some great games this year and being very relevant. But yeah, if AJ Green is not playing, then that could be a little iffy, because then they just don't have that threat of AJ Green. And what's his name on the other side, Tyler Boyd, and then you got Joe Mixon in the back. Yeah, I mean, yeah. So I think he could be. I think Tua will have the better career. But obviously there is injury risk there as well for him.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I mean, that's always a concern with a guy like that that's prolific on their feet. But I don't know, man. I like Joe Burrow smoking those cigars. I mean, he's definitely got that kind of swagger factor too. So, and that is something that definitely plays into the price of your cards, kind of kicking it back to the cards train of thought. So, no, I'm excited. I think, man, it's gonna be impossible to get some of this football. I think when Prism comes out, and even Optic, it's gonna be nuts. If what we've seen so far in 2020, I cannot find sealed product in like Targets or anything. Even at my LCS, I called and was like, "Hey, you got any Topps Chrome?" The day it came out, and he's like, "No, we're already out." And it was like noon. I was like, "What?" So
wow,
the hype is real. The hype is real. Looks like the Blazers are already smashing the Lakers 33-17 in the first. So that's what I got, at least.
I'm trying not to look up and be rude, but
no, good. So yeah, Blazers beating the Lakers. I told you, man. I had a hunch. Dame ain't gonna let him go down easy. He's already got 13. Yeah. Anyways,
we are talking about LeBron though, so we gotta wait and see.
Yeah, LeBron, he hasn't popped off yet. We know he'll go on a little bit.
LeBron doesn't like to lose, man.
So what have you been picking up recently?
To be honest with you, I've been picking up a lot of soccer right now.
Soccer, yeah. I see that's something I went on soccer a couple months ago and got, I don't know, maybe like 30 or so cards. But everybody's talking about soccer, and I want to do more research, but it almost seems like it doesn't matter. You just pick somebody who's decently well known, and their cards will triple overnight.
It's kind of taking that basketball, just like, man, it's popping off for sure. Like there's certain people that I key in on, and I pick up, their. They did a really good video. Slapstocks did a really good video like last week. And they talked about, the first year Prism. It's the same thing as basketball. It's like, the first year Prism, the first year Optics, first year Selects, things like that. And and that's where you target, and you target the people who are playing this Champions League, who are playing well. And there's not a lot of the big opportunity with soccer is that there's not a lot of graded stuff out there because no one's been grading it. So
Right.
the supply is a lot lower than the demand. But we're going to see a change of that here soon, pretty soon, probably. The opportunity is now for soccer, to be
Yeah.
honest,
So
looking at supply and demand.
right. So we could see a rush of people going for raw cards too, hoping to get 10s and 9s. So buying raw soccer might be the play in the world of soccer. So
Well, that's what I've been doing. I've just been buying raw.
yeah. Yeah, same. All the ones I bought some Messi, I bought some Ronaldo, some other guys. I bought one Pulisic and already sold it. I mean, the price was too right. Like, but anyways, yeah. So soccer is where you're looking at. I've been looking at
and football, but
I've been going a little bit deeper on football, picking up Christian McCaffrey's for sure. I'll just tell you all that right now. You're about to see a mail day where I got some McCaffrey's coming. But I've also been trying to wheel and deal baseball now that it's starting to pick up. Obviously, Fernando Tatis has been playing like Babe Ruth, basically. So I've been wheeling and dealing that, kind of selling when they pop off and then trying to buy into guys who are lower end. I think my end goal, though, is I want a trout. I want to go fishing, man. I want to go fishing for a 10 trout. That's what I'm trying to build up to. So.
Yeah, I mean they're not as expensive as they should be. That's for sure.
No, I agree. I don't know exactly the right price because I don't want to speculate on the exact price of a card because that doesn't seem right. But I definitely feel like they're undervalued just compared to all these. I mean, he's leading the league. He's leading the AL in home runs, and he missed a week because he had a newborn. So right. It's pretty crazy. But anyways, cool. So let's kick it over. Let's open it up for questions. If anybody in chat, looks like we got 30 or so people in here. If you guys want to ask some questions to Boris or myself, feel free to. And we can kind of field those and then, call it a pod. All right, here's one. Matt asks, Embiid select rookie PSA 9 for $35 a good buy or no? I don't know the PSA 10s, so I would have to look that up. But and we can do that, but I don't know, man. Joel Embiid personally does not excite me too much. So
yeah, I mean, I would say like Joel Embiid is just I mean, they're not gonna. Unfortunately, with Ben Simmons Joel Embiid is not. They're not going to go very far in this playoff run, in my opinion. So I mean, I wouldn't pick up his stuff right now, to be honest. In general, what I look at is, obviously a PSA 9 is usually about 1/3, 1/4 the price of a PSA 10. So if it's lower than the PSA 10, then usually it's a good buy, if you're looking at it from that perspective. So, if a PSA 10 Joel Embiid of that same card, PSA 10 is $200 and that card is $35, then yes, there's some room there. You know what I mean? But I'm not a big Joel Embiid guy.
And here's I have it up on screen now, but 2014, 2015 select Joel Embiid. Looking like it's selling for right around $100, 100 to 125. That was Prob Sneen, so they are kind of suspect. But
sometimes,
yeah. They just always get more money for the cards. It's crazy.
For sure.
Curtis says, "Good luck." I mean, that's a lot of money. I had a Trout rookie stolen from you 3 years ago. That's terrible. Sorry to hear that, Curtis. No, they're a lot. They are definitely a lot, but I think they're underrated or undervalued, rather.
The Trout, I think so, man. I mean, you think about it. I mean, think about some of the top basketball players and where their cards are, and then comparatively to Trout. Like Trout, I think a PSA 10 Trout is what, like 3,000 maybe.
They're starting to go up, but they're going up very slowly. They're like 3,500 last time I checked. I'm looking now. I'm gonna bring it up, but That's the diamond anniversary. That's the thing too, is there's so many different versions of it. Because like 3,500. Whoa, that's not what I meant to do. Okay, let's switch over here. I'll show you guys a price here. Yeah, so look, here it is. I mean, 3,200 was the last sale. 3,200 for a Trout 10. That's a lot of money. Don't get me wrong. That's a lot of money, but comparing it to some of the other guys in the league, I don't know, man. And it is definitely on an upwards trend. So
yeah, I think he's definitely undervalued.
Yeah, I mean, people say he's the best player, you know.
What's the population report?
Under 4,979. Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah, definitely low.
And you got to remember too, his card is old enough to where this new boom of hype and excitement for the hobby, people are going to go back, check, scrape through their shoe boxes or whatever, maybe even find a couple. But how many of those are going to be 10s, right? The nice thing with some of the most expensive basketball cards, they're all relatively new. You look at Zion, you look at Luka, those are the last 2-3 years. So the 2011 card, that's quite old. So that population report, I think, won't go too much higher than that. It will go up a little bit, obviously, but
right. It's a nice paper card.
Yeah, paper card, you know. But yeah, I definitely think Trouty has some room to grow for sure. Let's get to some more of these questions. Yeah, that's true. Sean, you guys ready for a price drop when they finally get their graded backlog cleared? And people fire sale. Yeah, I think that'll happen. I don't think it'll be crazy drop off. What do you think? There's still excitement. There's still a lot of money in the hobby right now.
It just depends on the player. It depends on the player, where they're at, and it depends on the sport. You know, that's basically it.
Yeah. Toa asking, what's up, Toa? Thanks on the, got to rock the Stone Cold Steve Austin shirt occasionally. Any sleeper basketball or football sets? I picked up Panini Brilliance, Damian Lillard, and Kemba Walker embossed and metallic look really cool sets, man. So football and basketball, that's not my go-to, but I will say I think Topps Fire. I've been talking with a couple of my patrons. Topps Fire, they got me sold on it, man. Topps Fire for baseball. It's a really cool, like, fun-looking set. So, but I don't know. Do you know about basketball or football sleeper sets?
Not specifically sets. I think the saying about, like, the rising tide rises all boats, I think that still holds true. So I think with any of those cards, you're going to see an uptick because a lot of people are coming in. They can't afford a prism, or they can't even afford a hoop sometimes. And so they look to some of these, other cards. But I have, Brilliance has caught my eye a couple times. So that could be a good, pivot point for picking up, Damian Lillard and Kemba Walker. Yeah. So, I mean, those have been some of the, besides the hoops. I mean, I picked up the hoops a while ago.
Right. Yeah. Hoops. I love hoops.
Mm-hmm. And it's been around a long time, hoops.
Oh yeah. Like, I don't know, 80. I know 90s and stuff.
Exactly.
Yeah. And the price point's nice. And you buy a Damian Lillard for $5 and you sell it for 55. That is a damn good ROI.
Well, and I guess you could say, like, someone said Optic. And I mean, Optic's not really a sleeper though, in my eyes.
Optic's I think that third option, I feel. And sometimes even, I feel like some people like Optic more than
second option. Yeah, no doubt. If anything, Select is the sleeper, man.
It's so
I tell
weird,
you what, man. Select is like, Select is going to blast off here in like another year. People are going to realize that there's a lot less Select than there is. Mm-hmm. Like, I mean, I've got a Luka Doncic rookie PSA 10 Select back on the wall. Mm-hmm. There's like, I mean, that's like there's like a third of those compared to like his PSA
Right.
to his prisms and
Yeah.
optics, you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Select, and it looks good too.
so yeah, I mean, Select is kind of like where I pivot a lot because if you can find a good deal on Select, I mean, that's a really good spot to go Select for me, in my
Right.
opinion. I think over time it's going to hold value pretty well as well.
Yeah, I agree.
And we've seen them going up too. Like, okay, so that Select card here, let me just that Select card, I bought it for like, I think I bought it for like 400
Mm-hmm.
PSA 10, and I bought it like very recently, like not very long ago. It was probably like maybe in June. I was like, yeah, I kind of want one that I'm gonna definitely keep on my in my collection. So the last bid of that one ended at $900 today. So I bought it for 400. It's already up $500. Very tempting to sell.
Yeah,
Very,
that's
very tempting.
good ROI. Good ROI.
But I'll probably keep it around because he's a boss.
Yeah. Yeah, man. Luke is the man. He's definitely looking like he can roll with the big dogs for sure. PSA 10 and some as what about Ja Morant? I assume you're just like asking generally what we feel about it. I love Ja Morant. I think long term, you compare him to the rest of that draft class, he is going to be the one that kind of outlasts everybody. He's got the swag, he's got the confidence, he's a rookie and already leading that team. You know, make no mistake about it. He is the leader of that squad. So I like Ja Morant. I like Ja Morant.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm
So
on the same page. I mean, I think he's one of the better rookies out of this class. He's got more of the fight. He's got the body to like withstand like all the punishment, and he'll last a lot longer in the league as well.
for sure.
Very not going to be very injury prone. So yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Hopefully nothing goes crazy and he like lands awkwardly on somebody's shoe or something. Oh my God, that's always the worst. But Curtis saying he picked up a sepia Luis Robert for $90. Man, that I'm so excited. I got some Topps Chrome. Shout out to Dakota from Cards Over Stocks for finding some Topps Chrome for me and shipping it out to me for just cost plus shipping. So I'm going to be cracking some Topps Chrome here on the channel soon. So I'm excited. I've been buying, Curtis also says I've been buying some select rookies as well. Yeah, Raw. Hey, man, nothing wrong with Raw. Raws pop off just like, 10s and 9s do. So
Yeah,
maybe
absolutely.
even more so. I think actually your ROI percentage, right, could be better on Raw than 9s even. Just because they go crazy.
That used to be the case. The PSA 9 is pretty up there now. Like I said, like it used to be like they were basically on the same level.
Well, no,
But
I'm
the
not talking about like
nines
the dollar amount. I'm talking about like the percent. Like I bought
the R.
I bought several Damian Lillard hoops just raw for like 5s and 10s, and then sold them for 45s and 55s. So that's a good
Yeah.
percentage wise.
I guess it just depends on like when you buy it too, you know?
Right. You definitely got to be early bird gets the worm. But
Right.
yeah, Select. Yeah, I agree, peeps. Select is definitely good looking. Everybody apparently in chat loves Select. It's funny because like people will agree, and then like the prices will be less than Optic. I like Optic though. I do like Optic a lot. Prisms actually like would be my third choice.
Really?
Well, I just they got the Chipotle wrapper, and then they Photoshop a picture of the player on there. That's what it looks like to me.
Yeah, I could see that.
Select field level for soccer.
Yeah, soccer. I mean, in general, soccer is just
it's undervalued.
It's super undervalued. I mean, like this is like I said, like you can get into it right now, and it's just a good idea. Like it's just like you almost can't go wrong. I mean, I bought I'll show you a couple I bought. Hold on. like, especially for the prices and what we've been paying for everything else, it's like, I mean, it's a no-brainer. Okay, I paid, let's see, this Kevin De Bruyne Prism. I paid
Yeah, that
like
thing went off recently.
I paid $20 for this. It's already at like 75, $80. And I bought it the other day. And then I got this. There's a couple of selects. This is like first year select. Robert Lewandowski. I paid like $3 for this. And I've got like a ton coming to my house that just like are just like I paid like $3 a card on them. Like it's insane.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like you just can't.
Oh, yeah.
Like I mean, the investment. I mean, what do you lose? You lose $3, or you earn, or you make like 2,000 times your investment.
Yeah. Yeah, it's soccer, I think, and I think it's very similar to football, right? We're still in that like pregame. I don't even think we're in the first quarter yet. I think we're in the pregame for soccer because the World Cup's coming up. What next year? 2022, right? Or is it 21?
Yeah, I'm ready for that. 22 because 18 was the last one.
Right. So, and then Doobie Collects ask, what's your thoughts on the prices of Connor McDavid? Young Guns think it's undervalued. Yeah, man. So I just brought it up. I kind of checked it out before. I don't know, man. So they're like $1,400 for PSA 10. If you look at guys that are on his level, I don't know, man. That seems like a pretty fair price for it right now. I wouldn't say it's undervalued quite yet because you look at Ovechkin and you look at Sidney Crosby. Last time I checked, they were right around that same price. So,
no clue what you're talking about.
Jacob asks, "This is I mean, do you think the hobby is getting out of control in terms of prices? It's definitely getting nutty. It's definitely getting nutty, but I mean, I would guess and I would bet that the prices are only going to go up even more. So
yeah, man, scared money don't make no money.
Right?
I've always lived by that. Like sometimes you just gotta do it, man. You just gotta get out there, put some money in, and roll the dice. Yeah, I mean, it's all investment, man. You can see who's doing well, and if you can look and be like, okay, Lionel Messi obviously is a good investment. Like, so if he has cards that are like lower priced and everything is going up right now, then yeah, let's do it. Let's buy some.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, prices are getting nuts, but I think we're, at the beginning stages of all this stuff. You got guys like Mark Wahlberg now. His kids are starting starting a YouTube channel and stuff and cracking just like I think it was Chronicles and stuff. So we're starting to see pop culture kind of mix with sports cards. And I think once it becomes mainstream, that'll probably be the apex. And then it'll kind of, like everything does, once it becomes mainstream, it won't be cool for the kids anymore and it'll start to taper off. But
that's going to be a long time.
Yeah, I definitely don't think it's, even next year. We'll see though. Nobody knows.
I think there's a reason why people are getting into it and like it,
Mm-hmm. It's fun, man.
Keep in mind too. Yeah.
It's fun. It's better. Like, I don't say it's better than gambling, but it's a fun way to gamble, if that makes sense. And you got the physical card there, so. Oh, man.
I don't even compare it to gambling whatsoever. I just, it's investing for me.
Yeah, no, for sure.
Yeah. Gambling is like Zion Williamson.
Yeah.
That's gambling.
Anybody know any good cheap soccer investments? Man.
Ton of them.
Close your eyes and throw the darts at the dartboard, brother, because they're all going up.
Yeah. I mean, anything, like I said, like go check out that video by Slab Stocks from last week. They did a video on the basics of soccer, and that was like money.
Yeah, Slab Stocks does good stuff. If y'all don't know, go check them out. after this video is over, of course.
Go now. No.
Quit buying. Curtis says, I quit buying scratch off and started buying cards. Yeah, exactly. I think that's a great spot to potentially finish off this episode. Thank you, everybody, for rocking with us tonight. Thank you, everybody, for listening. If you're listening to this on the pod, again, check out Boris over at the Hobby Box if you want to let everybody know where all your socials are, where they can find you. If you want to say that, and then I can lead us out.
Yeah. Basically the Hobby Box on anything. If you go check out the Hobby Box on YouTube, you'll find me, or Instagram. Those are the main places I am. I'm not a big Twitter guy. I'm on there, but don't worry about it, because I'm just really not all about it.
Yeah, you're mostly on Insta. He's on Instagram. He's on YouTube. He's got the podcast. He's all over the place.
Yeah.
And is it Slabs to Riches? That's the name of the podcast.
That's Saturdays. Yeah. The Saturday podcast is Slabs to Riches. Yeah. Right
on. So Hobby Box basically everywhere y'all want to know. Lakers are only down by 2 now. Let's go. 40-38 in the second quarter with 8:27 left. Shout out to Sean for that update. But yeah, thank you everybody for watching, for listening. Again, 5-star reviews only. Rate, review. And if you're watching this live, make sure to slap that like button, guys. You know, we're out here doing it for you guys. And if you're new here and you made it this far, hit that subscribe button. Join the team. Get in that comment section. And that's about all I gotta say. Thank you all so much for rocking with the channel and the pod. And until the next episode, keep cracking packs, keep collecting. See you in the next one.